Hey, howdy, hey, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, will be reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under episode 3. So if that sounds good to you, make sure to hit that like button, comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright. So yes, I just finished watching RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under episode 3. This episode obviously was the Queens Down Under episode where the queens had to get to girl groups and perform to the song Queens Down Under. Overall, before we get into it, I will say this was a very interesting episode. I will say I enjoyed the girl group challenge. I thought the song was pretty good. I will say it wasn't the best song, but it wasn't the worst either. Obviously, we are now at a top 7. But, this was an interesting episode overall. So, of course, we will be getting right on into it. The episode obviously starts out with the queens walking back into the workroom after Art Simone has been sent away. And everyone is still kind of in shock that Art Simone was sent home so early, including me. I was honestly very surprised. I will say I do think Coco definitely won that lip sync, so I do think that was very well deserved for Coco to stay. I also want to talk about one specific point where Coco mentioned that someone had told her that, oh, well, you're nothing compared to Art Simone, or something like that. Someone said that they wanted Art Simone to perform, but Coco is performing. They were like, oh, well, you're nothing compared to Art Simone. And then Coco was like, well, I just beat Art Simone in a lip sync, so who's laughing now? Anyways, I do really like Coco Jumbo, and I also really like Art. I like both of those queens. So, that last week was honestly pretty upsetting for me as a viewer and a reviewer. See what I did there? Anyways, with the queens obviously wiping out the message, talking more and more about, Art being eliminated, how that kind of changes things up, because for a lot of them, they assumed Art Simone was the main competition. Especially, Karen. Karen was like, it was me and Art who were gonna be in the top 2 together, and Karen was like, wow, can't believe she's gone. A lot of people were surprised, so yeah, that was about it for that part of the episode. When they do walk back into the workroom the next day, RuPaul obviously comes on the TV screen and tells them about the main challenge a little bit, gives them hints about girl group names and things like that, and that was interesting. We do have a mini challenge this week, which is called Babe Watch or something like that, where the queens have to get into quick drag and pretend to be lifeguards, going to save someone and running in slow motion. This ended up basically being an ad for Manscaped, which I thought was an interesting part of the episode. I will say, having seen a lot of YouTube ads for Manscaped, it was interesting to see it to see this on Drag Race. But it was a fun mini challenge. I will say some of the queens had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to be putting pictures over here as I talk about it. Overall, I thought it was a pretty fun mini challenge. I will say there were a few standouts. Of course, I really think etc. did well. Electra Shock, sorry. I think Electra Shock did well. Obviously, in the end, RuPaul picks 2 winners. And the winners of this mini challenge were going to be Electra Shock and Scarlett Adams. So congratulations to the 2 of them. They are now team captains and get to pick the teams that they want for the girl group challenge. So of course now we have our 2 groups, which are 3.5 men, which includes Maxi, Karen from Finance, Electra Shock, and Kita Mean. And then we have our Outback Fake Hoes, which includes Scarlett Adams, etc., Coco Jumbo, and Anita Wiglet. So those are the two groups moving forward, and as the queens start to write their own lyrics for the songs, because obviously they have to write their own verses for the song, we get a cameo, or, well, basically a cameo from, no, not Lucian, from, Troye Sivan and, the songwriter, I forget his name, where they basically recorded a video of them saying, hey, this is how we write songs. It was pre-recorded, I'm pretty sure, because I don't think that was a live Zoom call by any means. This was interesting. It was fine. It was fine. I will say I'm kind of not enjoying these guest appearances, because I like it much more, obviously, when the people are actually there. I mean, I understand they can't, there are probably some logistic issues, but at least with, like, season 13, they did seem to have more interaction with the queens, which I appreciated a bit more, versus these, which seem to be somewhat just pre-recorded videos. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think down below. But, obviously, the queens are writing their lyrics, doing the thing. Yep. Then they go to record their lyrics, obviously, with Michelle Visage. There are a few, obviously, people who struggle a little bit, and a few that do really well. I will say Maxi and Coco Jumbo both seem to struggle a bit more than the rest of the queens. So I was automatically from the bat seeing those two in the bottom. Electra Shock had a lot of fun with it. I think Scarlett had a lot of fun with it. Anita had a lot of fun with it. A lot of them had a lot of fun with it. The main people who stuck out for not doing a great job, obviously, were Coco and Maxi. Overall, it was a fine recording session. I didn't think anything crazy about it. I think they all did pretty well. I don't think Michelle had any major problems other than the two who kept apologizing for their mistakes. Yeah, that was about it. Now we get into choreo, where the queens are obviously doing their own choreography. And for the group 3.5 Men, Electra Shock basically leads it all, because obviously Electra Shock was a dance teacher, where they're all doing the choreo. It all goes pretty smoothly, honestly. I don't think there were any major issues. After they're done with their choreo, they have this whole conversation where Electra Shock basically tells them how they used to be a dance teacher, and then they had to shut down their dance studio, and now, they're getting back into drag and really trying to, so I guess this is a way for them to get back into it, and I think they're a great dancer, so I would love to see more dancing from Electra Shock. I thought that was a really lovely moment. Yeah. When it comes to the Outback Fake Host choreo, there are a bit too many people trying to lead. I think it's a problem that they have. I do think etc. is kind of trying to backseat drive when she's not the team captain, and I'm kind of like, I get it, but also, like, when you're not the team captain, you might want to take a step back and say, hey, the other person seems to be doing their job, let me, listen. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Overall, though, I think they both teams, I think, do a pretty good job with the choreo. I don't think there's any major issues. They're just having a good time and enjoying it for the most part. Yeah. That was about it. The next day, when the queens walk back into the workroom, they're all getting ready for the singing challenge. And etc. goes over to Coco's station and finds a note which says, watch out. Obviously, no one really owns up to this. So that was a bit of a weird moment. And if you've seen Drag Race for a while, you know notes being found randomly don't always lead to the best of times. Looking at Trixie with Thorgy's note. Anyways, obviously they're all trying to figure out who left the note. Some people are thinking it might have been Art, but also Art is gone, so I don't know. They kind of just glaze over it after that, and then nothing else really happens with that. But they are continue to get ready, and then obviously it's the main stage. At the main stage, we get to see Rue, Michelle, and Reese. I do think Rue looks really great, and I think Michelle looks really good. Reese looks fine. I really enjoy Reese as a judge, though. I think Reese is a really great judge, honestly. Overall, the judges look great. yeah, I have no problems with their looks. When we get to the actual performances, I'll go and give you guys my opinions on these. With the group 3.5 men, or actually let me start with Outback Bakos because they went first, I believe. I enjoyed it. I think Anita did a really fun job. I think they all had a lot of fun with it. I will say Scarlett not Scarlett, Coco Jumbo kind of faded in the background in my opinion. Overall though, I think they did a pretty good job for the most part. Like, I didn't see any major flaws in their actual performing. I think they had fun with it, and I think that's the most important part. When it comes to the 3.5 men performance, I think they all had fun with it. I will say, I do see what the judges were saying with Electra Shock being the standout performer, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because I think in a lot of girl groups, there are specific performers who do stand out, and I think Electra Shock did a fine job. I don't necessarily agree with their opinions on that. I don't know, maybe that's just me. The lyrics were fun, the song was fun. I didn't really have any problems with either of these groups. I think they both did a pretty good job. I will say it wasn't my favorite girl group challenge, but it wasn't the worst. Yeah, that's basically what I'll say. For the runway this week, the theme is Bogan Prom. And obviously, I'll go over some of the looks. If you want to see a more in-depth runway review, I will be reviewing the runways later this week, so definitely tune in for that. But overall, I thought the runway was fun. There were a few that really stuck out to me, like I said. I think Scarlett Adams looked really great, and I think Anita and Ketamine had a lot of fun with this runway. I also think Karen looked pretty great. I will say, I do think Electra Shock's look was probably one of the weakest. And also, I did not enjoy her makeup at all. It looked messy. The makeup looked really messy. And yeah, that's all I'm going to really say on that. I will do a review specifically on the fashions later. Overall though, it was a fine runway, nothing really crazy. When it comes to the judging, obviously the safe queens are going to be Karen from Finance, and etc, etc. Which means obviously the rest of the queens are in the top or the bottom. So the tops this week are going to be, Ketamine, Scarlett, and Anita. Ketamine, Scarlett, and Anita. Yep, that's the top 3. And the bottom 3 is going to be Coco Jumbo, Maxi Shield, and Electra Shock. I don't necessarily agree with Electra Shock being in the bottom. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Please comment down below what you thought. Obviously, in the end, the winner this week is going to be Scarlett Adams. Congratulations to Scarlett Adams. That is a well-deserved win. And the bottom 2 this week is going to be Coco Jumbo and Electra Shock. I don't necessarily agree with this. I will say, in the end, I mean, I think it ultimately worked out because when it came to the lip sync, which we'll talk about now, I guess, I think overall with the lip sync, Coco kind of just stayed doing the same moves over and over, whereas Electra Shock was being a little bit more dynamic with her routine in the lip sync. So for that, I definitely agree with Electra Shock winning this lip sync. I am very sad, obviously, to see Coco Jumbo sashay away. I do think Coco Jumbo was really just a lovely person to see on TV. Really lit up the screen and just such a good personality. I'm going to be really sad to see her gone. I really like Coco. I wish Coco Jumbo was in it longer. But ultimately, this is where we're at now. It is a top 7, obviously. So we will be seeing another episode next week, which will be a design challenge. I will be reviewing that for you guys, of course. But overall, I will say this episode was pretty fun. It wasn't the worst. I'm hoping I love a design challenge, so I'm hoping it'll be a good design challenge. And yeah, honestly, the season's continuing on, so we'll see how it goes. That's most I'll say. But yeah, that does bring me to the end of my review. Like I say in all my videos, these are not meant to be any form of hate, so do not send hate to any of the queens mentioned in these videos, because that is not what they are meant for. They are just meant for us to have a fun time and kiki in the comments about these episodes. So definitely leave a comment down below. Like this video if you liked it. Share it all over social media. Get your friends to watch this channel. Obviously, I'm growing the channel even more, and we are at 400 subscribers. I can't believe I'm saying that. But make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Come join the Amateur Hour community. And yeah, we have a fun time over here. I will be back here tomorrow with another video. So do have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys later. Bye, guys.